Hello everyone, I am Hemanth from the stream of Information Technology, 3rd year at SESI Institute of Technology and Engineering. In this video, I am happy to discuss about a habit, being proactive. Being proactive is one of the 7 habits. Proactive people focus on what they can do with their abilities and do things accordingly. So proactive people aware of the fact that they cannot able to control everything and everyone. So the things which are not in their hands, they cannot go to that side. So before going to perform any activity, proactive people will think once whether they can perform this activity or not, whether the activity which they are performing belongs to the work which belongs to them or not. By keeping all these things in their mind, proactive people actually works. Consider an example. Let us have two persons. These two persons will think in two different perspectives. So the person one will always thinks about where I work, where I live, what skills I have, what I have to do next, what I read, places I have to travel. So the person one always concentrate on these things. So whereas the person two will always concentrate on where I work, where I live, what others think about me, what's the weather, political views of others, what others are doing. So these are the two perspectives where the person one thinks about these things and person two thinks about these things. So we have to categorize which person will come under the proactive people. So here the question arises. So which person will come under the proactive? So if suppose person 1 or a person 2 come under the category of proactive. So then what the other person is categorized as? So there is a other category and that is reactive people. So reactive people always react on what the things which does not belongs to them. So they react on everything. So they will concentrate on their things only in few times. So remaining all times they focus on other things. So in order to categorize those two people, there are two types of circles. In order to categorize them as proactive or reactive, there are two types of circles. So here you can observe two circles. So one is shaded with the white color and another one is shaded with the grey color. So here the one which is shaded with the white color is the circle of control, where the circle of control will focus on the activities which belongs to himself or herself, where the circle which is shaded with the grey color is tells about the circle of concern. Means the circle of concern will focus on the activity which does not belongs to himself. Now let us categorize the activities of the first person, whether they will come under the circle of control or circle of concern. So these are the activities of the first person. So now let us categorize these activities whether they will come under the circle of control or circle of concern. So here the first activity is where I work. So where I work, suppose if he is working at the Infosys company, then he has an identity that I am working at the Infosys company. So that he can define himself that I am working at the Infosys company. So that means the activity which he is thinking is definitely belongs to himself. That means it will come under the circle of control. Where the other one, where I live, suppose he is living at the Hyderabad, so he can define himself that I am living at the Hyderabad. So he is thinking about himself. So that means the activity will come under circle of control. Where the other one, what skills I have, so he is focusing on himself. That means if he needs any other skill for to develop any project, so he need to improve. So he need to learn those skills. So or if he already learned the skill, so he will check out whether I learned this skill or not, whether I know this skill or not. So this will definitely come under circle of control. That means he is focusing on himself. So whether I have to learn that skill or not, or whether these skills are sufficient for to develop this project or not. So all these things belongs to himself. So next, what I have to do next. So the next activity. So he is thinking about himself whether I have to do what I have to do in the next. So this will definitely come under the circle of control. So next, what I read. So he's thinking whether what I read, that means which book I read or which article I have read. So focusing on himself whether what he read or not. So this will definitely come under circle of control. And the last one, places I have to travel. So he is having somewhat goal to travel any places. So he made a list of few places and he marked those places that I have visited or not visited. So now he is thinking which place I have to travel in the next moment. So at that moment he focus on himself. So that means that activity, places I have to travel, will definitely come under the circle of control. So here the no activity will come under circle of concern. All the activities of this person had come under circle of control. Now let us see the second person. So whether the activities of this person will come under the circle of control or circle of concern. So the first one, where I work. So as we see earlier, where I work will definitely focus on himself. That means it will definitely come under the circle of control. Similarly, where I live also will come under the circle of control. Next, what others think about me. The thing which does not belongs to him, he is going to think about that. So that means it will definitely not focusing on himself. It is focusing on the other activity which doesn't belongs to himself. That means it will definitely come under circle of concern. Next, what's the weather? So similarly, this is also the thing which does not belongs to himself. He is thinking about the other activities. So this also come under the circle of concern. Similarly, the political views of others and what others are doing. So these two are the activities which doesn't belongs to himself. So these are the activities which belongs to the circle of concern. So here are the total activities that belongs to circle of concern and circle of control of the person 2. So now let us compare the person 1 and person 2. Here are the list of activities which come under the circle of control of the person 1. Here are the list of the activities that come under the circle of control and circle of concern of the second person. Here you can observe that the person 1 is always focusing on himself. He is not going outside of other things that does not belongs to himself. That means he is always focusing on himself. So no other activity belongs to the circle of concern. So here the radius or the width of the circle of concern is quietly small when compared to the second person, where because the activities which belongs to the circle of concern to the person 2 is more than person 1. So the definition, so we thought before, like the proactive people always focus on the things which they have to do, which they are doing. So here we can observe that the person 1 is focusing on all the activities which he has to do, whereas the person 2 is thinking about the other things which does not belongs to himself also, such that we can categorize the person 1 is a proactive and the person 2 is a reactive. So again, let us recall the things which they are doing. So the person 1 is always focusing on himself. What I do, what I have to do, where I work, the places I have to visit, what I have to do next time, and what the skills I have, what the skills I have to need. So all these things the person 1 is focusing, whereas the second person is focusing on the political issues and what the people are thinking about himself. So all these things are focusing by the second person. So here we can conclude that the person 1 is belongs to the proactive people, whereas the person 2 will belongs to the reactive people. So the person 1 will definitely not going to react on other things. Here the person 2 is going to react to the things which does not belongs to himself. Thank you for watching this video.